Welcome back, YouTube. What we're talking about today is the G2C 9mm Taurus, and I have a couple of. I've had a couple of these. I've had the 40. I've had the 40 caliber that saved my life that day, 6+ years ago. I didn't have any sights on it back then, but I put some night sights on it, like I did with this one. I need to put some texturized grips on that one as well, like I have with this. But that's just for better grip and slide manipulation when you are pulling out of the holster. You know what I mean? Especially when you've been working all day, because this is the main function of this weapon for me. It's my work gun. So when you've been working all day and you're sweaty and shit, or excuse me, sweaty and things, that trying to get monetized, that it's just not like just standard plastic, like on the, say, Glock or any type of polymer framed firearm, that your hand might slip off of it. So I like to put this on pretty much all of my weapons, but especially ones that I'm going to be using for work purposes. Yeah, it's butter. I've had this for a couple years now. I would say, or about a year now, I've had the 40 caliber for like 7 years at this point, or 6+ years, 7 years at this point, because I had gotten it shortly before my shooting incident. But these things, I've put freaking 1,000 rounds downrange with probably more than that, probably more than 1,000 rounds at this point downrange with both of them. As you can see, all the wear and tear, and I got them both used. You know what I mean? Just like Glock, like a standard Glock. That's why they call these the poor man's Glock, but it's just a budget gun, and it breaks down just like a Glock, with the little. Sorry. There you go. And then it breaks down just like a Glock, in the sense that you pull these down and then you pull the trigger, and then the upper receiver comes off. But yeah, it's just like a Glock. Even looks a lot like it internally. Like it's actually kind of a trip. Let me show you a quick. So, like I said, it breaks down just like a Glock. Grab that. Yep. And like I said, looks just like it. It's pretty much the exact same thing, just less money, and has an external safety, because I'll show you in just a second. What I mean by external safety is that it has a switch, it does also have a safety on this. So say if you're only pulling on the side of the trigger, it won't go off just like a Glock. You have to pull from the middle to get that firing pin to drop. But so in like a Glock, it's similar to that in that regard, as I'll show you right now. See, I'm pulling on just the side. I'm not hitting this safety selector, the internal safety. Boom. But it doesn't reset the trigger, a Glock doesn't reset the trigger the way that a Taurus does. A lot of people, when they shoot these, they say that it feels spongy and they don't like it. But honestly, once you put enough rounds downrange, you get used to it. And it's kind of just like a very, how I put this, like it's like a give and a take, and me personally, I kind of like this a little bit more just because of the safety selector when I have it aimed down at my nuts when I'm wearing appendix carry. It's nice to know that I have, something that's another safeguard protecting the family jewels, you know what I'm saying? So when I pull, then I can drop the safety with manipulate with my thumb, up position, down position, ready to fire, and then bang, bang, bang. I'm going to load this weapon right now just to show you an example of something that this gun features that a Glock does not. Safety switch is on, as you can see, but this has a round indicator, a loaded round indicator, and it says loaded when up. As you can see, it is ever so slightly up right now, but it is safe because we have safety on. As you can see, it is on. Now I'm gonna take that out. Chamber's clear. Now, I wish Glock had stuff like that, because as you can see, they're very, very, very similar firearms. But I feel like Taurus and SIG, I just feel like all these other weapons manufacturing companies are kind of surpassing Glock in a way, because Glock, you know, you got to step your game up. But this gun right here is only worth $200. It used to be like $175 after rebate and stuff, and now they're going for like $200 to $300 on average. This right here, I bought brand new $600 back in like 2019. But I could have got a used one for $300 to $400. You know, I wanted it brand new because I was designating this as my new everyday carry. But to be honest though, I worry about losing this more because it's worth more. Whereas with this, I'm not as worried about losing it because it's only a couple $100. I can buy 3 of these for the price of 1 of these brand new, and that's the price brand new. So, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like you could get the Glock 26/7 variants of this, and then you could also get like a Glock 19 variant of the G2/G3 series Tauruses. And you can have 3 different guns, 3 different sizes, even a couple different calibers, and that's costing you the same value as one Glock. It doesn't even matter the caliber really, because all Glocks brand new are about $600 and or more, you know, depending on like if it's like a big boy Glock freaking 40, you know what I mean, with the long barrel or something. I mean, you know what I mean? So, or like a 10 millimeter, you know, Glock 20. So, you know, it's one of those things that you really gotta value, you know, what's more important to you? Carrying, you know, trust me, this is reliable, and if it has any issues, if you buy it straight from the gun store, and you have that warranty from manufacturer, you can send it right back to them and they'll fix stuff for you. I've sent magazines, like one magazine broke down on me. That's one thing I must say, that the magazine quality for standard, hold on. Here's the standard Taurus magazine. Here's the standard Glock 43X magazine. And something I gotta say about this is that Glock is way more reliable when it comes to their magazines. Because this, I remember I was shooting at the range, and then well, actually, that's right. You know, that's right. It didn't break at the range. It broke after the range, when I was throwing my bag around in the car, and the freaking like plastic thingamabob, what do you call it? The freaking base plate. That's the word I was looking for. The plastic base plate on the bottom of the magazine broke off, and literally the springs popped out, the bullets fell out, and I just was like, motherfucker. But, you know, it's just one of those things, man, like cheaper, I guess, made magazine. Well, or just, you know, Glock is always known for their reliability. I've never had that happen with any of my Glock mags, ever. Not with the OEM ones, you know what I mean? I had a KCI that similar type of thing happened to, but the base plate didn't fully break off, so I feel like something just kind of hit the little tab and allowed the base plate to fly off, because when I put everything back together and went to shoot it, that it still worked just fine. But the Taurus magazine, for whatever reason, actually like broke and is like you know, you got to send it back to the manufacturer, which they will do, but you know, you got to have been the first purchaser of the firearm. And I've only, out of all the Tauruses I've owned, only one of them is something that I bought from the store brand new. The other ones were always bought off of someone that I met or knew. And yeah, but that's my review on the G2C. I also have put in some night sights on this one. For some reason, I wasn't able to get the front night sight on, because just the threading on it was just real finicky. But I do have the back ones on, and that gives me a good enough idea when, you know, middle of the night type situation, where I'm aiming, because in a real self-defense situation, you're probably not even going to be using both hands, you know, especially if someone's right up on you and they're pulling you and you have to pull it off your side and pop them like so. But yeah, in my self-defense situation, I was firing with one hand over the hood of a car. So, you know, there's situations, and you can't really two-hand that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, that's just one of those situations you just kind of gotta feel. You know what I mean? And I still hit my target, one of them at least. But, yeah, like I was saying, though, you know, for the price of one of these Glocks, you can get 3 Tauruses, and they're just as reliable. Honestly, I can't knock them, and they're more comfortable to carry than, say, another budget firearm like a freaking what are those things? The high points, or the Sky pistols, the SCCY CPX 123s. All those things, those are trash. I had a couple of those. I sold them both because they were freaking jammers, and ugh. But yeah, as you can see, I'm wearing a tight shirt, sucking my belly in, but it still disappears on me, you know what I mean? And don't even have a magazine in it right now, but that's a 12 rounder, still disappears on me, or on you know what I mean? And then here's the 15. A little bit of a print now, but still, if you suck it in enough, kind of disappears, you know what I mean? Kind of see it poking right there, but still, that's just because the shirt's tight. I try to wear looser clothing when I'm concealed carrying, but like I was saying, I can't knock this gun. It is been there for me, which called this model of weapon. It's been there for me in my most dire circumstances, and it warded off those bad guys, and I can't really say anything bad about it. A lot of people want to talk smack about it, and that's fine, but in my personal experiences and with real life self-defense situations, this bad boy runs just as good as the best, like, you know what I mean? Glock, SIG, staccato, all that bullshit. You know, at the end of the day, it's about your budget, and realistically, it's better to have at least 2 firearms, because say that you get in a self-defense situation, right, and you shoot, this is actual information that was taught to me when I got my concealed weapons permit at 22 years old. The instructor specifically said to always buy at least 2 firearms at a time, because like when you're first becoming a gun owner, because say you use your weapon in self-defense, now the friends, family, associates of that individual that tried killing you, hurting you, now they can come after you during the court process, which was an issue, but it never arose during my trial period, because it took about 1.5 years until we finally got to testify against the scumbags that they caught. But you know, yeah, it's all about doing what's within your budget, and always having more than you may need, because you might not understand why you would need 2+ firearms. But say you get in that situation and now you're being hunted down in your own neighborhood because, you know, you had to defend yourself. That's a realistic thing, and the police aren't going to put someone outside your house. Like, you know what I mean? That's just not realistic. Trust me. And they never did that. We didn't get no escort to court. We didn't get no cops watching our house. We didn't get a fucking thing. Besides, you know, them locking down the hospital that I got triage at, and in the trauma center. You know, so beyond that, oh, and when they found us at the